we had different elements as well, like mostly rap. Yeah, but we made some music. What was I talking about again? I just kept talking and forgot what I was
We were
saying.
talking about the size of the audience back in the
Oh yeah,
2000.
size of the audience. Okay.
Well, hello to the good people over the internet. Today we have with us the one and only the rapper and the music producer Cizzy with us, who is not only loved in West Bengal and Calcutta, but also beyond and in the entire subcontinent of India. Thank you so much, Cizzy, for taking some time out to do this.
For sure, for sure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, people who don't know, we are actually doing this nearly midnight in India. So, thank you so much for that as well.
Yeah.
So as I just said, like we don't have any script, we don't have like we don't know what the fuck is gonna happen, but something's gonna happen. So, I would like
Right.
to ask you an interesting question, which is, how did you start getting into the music scene, in the rap, in the hip hop scene? Like, were you interested from the very, childhood, or you developed it slowly?
Actually, those are all different questions for me because for me, the music came at a very early age because my family is musical family, like most other families in West Bengal. Like we born in music and poetry and all of that. So most of my families are musicians themselves. Um, they make music, they play instruments, they sing. So all of that, and I started learning music at a very early age. When I say music right now, I mean like Hindustani classical music. I started learning it at like at the age of 5, and then since before that also I've been growing up in a family who's always practicing music. But yeah, for hip hop, that came later, like a lot later, to be honest. Rap came before that. Actually, rap came through rock, not hip hop. I was listening to Linkin Park because it was big in Kolkata around that time. I was probably around my secondary examinations, madhyamik time, and Linkin Park was a big thing around then. So Mike Shinoda, that was a big inspiration for me to start writing. I was writing exactly like Shinoda back then and in English, and I was kind of using his whole style and everything. And then gradually got into hip hop, mostly because of the album that Linkin Park and Jay-Z made together. That was a game changer for me. That is what got me into hip hop. And listening to a lot of Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and a lot of that, and then gradually came into hip hop music and I started producing that. Yeah, so it was kind of like the questions are all different timelines for me.
Wow,
Yeah,
interesting. Pretty interesting journey you had. So, yeah,
yeah,
like you said a thing right. Like in West Bengal, in Calcutta, basically every household has a harmonium lying in the corner of the bedroom.
yeah,
We all are born with music, our parents singing or playing something or attending concerts, whatever the hell it is. Okay.
yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly.
Um, when did you start writing your own music? And what were you like prepared to write your own music? You are thinking of, okay, I can actually write music and do music.
So I started writing when I was in class 11, I think. Or so basically that is when I started skipping classes and started getting into other things, like instead of studying all the time. Like I was never studying all the time, let's be honest. Okay, so but like instead of being a typical student, I started experimenting with my life and tried other things. And that is when I was not doing my homework or classwork for the matter. And I, I changed the school as well. So I gradually, it was a journey for me around that time when I had to become an extrovert, if you know what I'm saying, because I had to change the
Hmm.
school, and I was an introvert all my life, so I kind of had to go beyond that threshold and start expressing myself. Not maybe expressing myself like what I want to express, but something to go with the audience, or go with everyone else, like just go with the life, and so I started expressing whatever I had to express. And that is when things were, well, some things had to be said, so I started writing. And I wasn't writing rap back then, I was writing songs, mostly because I was listening to music like Akon. I was listening like Linkin Park, as I said. So mostly I was listening to Power FM, let's be honest. When it was the only form of okay, so I was solving maths, and Power FM was the only radio channel back then, which was playing a lot of cool music because
Mhm.
everything else was, like I was not really into it because I've been doing that already and I wanted to hear fresh sounds. So yeah, that is when I started writing music. I mean, I writing lyrics and then music. I started experimenting them on. I always had a computer. Uh, was bit tech savvy for back in the day, but right now I don't understand that everything that's going on. It's way too advanced for me. But back
Uh-huh.
then I was a bit more tech savvy than everyone else. So I downloaded some softwares, I started making some music on the go and dropping some rhymes. I had a headphone which came with attached mic, so I recorded some stuffs on
Pro.
that. So that is how it started. Yeah,
Wow. So like experimented a lot with things.
yeah. I still do it actually. My experimentation is
Mhm.
the only thing that keeps this journey
Mhm.
going.
Mhm. Actually, I recently saw you in the CCU festival in Jam Studio. I was standing right in
Yeah,
front
yeah.
of that,
I saw
and
you. I saw
you.
you from the
Oh,
stage.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Uh, like when also you thought that okay, I can make music as a career, not only as a hobby or a passion. When did you think of this? And like tell us like the entire. So this podcast is listened to by a lot of young creative professionals who want to do something, get into the industry. So
mm,
if you would like tell us briefly how you sat down, did you sit down, write things down, pointed out, connected, networked, got in a production
yeah.
house, got kicked out? What happened exactly?
Well, those are the usual stories. For me, it
Hmm.
was more like, realizing it inside me that I can do it. I mean, even if some things don't work out, I can always find confidence in me that I will find another thing and I will not give up, basically, because nothing in this life is for certain. I have done like 6, 7 regular jobs already, and I left them. I got another one. So even with like music, I think like, yeah, one opportunity might not work out, but I'll get another one. I mean, I have to. There is no other option at this
Mhm.
because like one thing that I figured out while I was completing my studies is like I am not the best at that. Like while I was doing my studies, I knew that there are better people at this race, and I cannot be the number one in that. But then,
The same story aligns with us. I was the one who is way behind.
yeah. I wouldn't say, but there weren't people behind me who were hoping to get big, and they did. By the fact, there are people who weren't that crazy in academics, and they kind of worked hard, and now they're doing something
Hmm.
good in their lives. But
Hmm.
I kind of believe that I had this something else which I could do, and I could be the number one in it. I could be the absolute best in it.
Hmm.
When I discovered this small thing like Bangla rap, even what existed already as Bangladeshi rap, that was very different. But what I had was something unique, and I knew that I can be the absolute best at this if I wanted to, and I can be it for a long time. So I knew that this is my thing, like there will be people who will come after me, and already there are a lot of people who are doing it uh, pretty good. But then I also know that I have my place here, which I can hold of. Not just
Hmm.
because I started it, or not just because I was the first few to do it, also because I'm one of the best, and I have that confidence in me.
Yes.
That is why it keeps me going. Yeah.
Wow. What if we had all we all had this kind of confidence, huh?
I'm sure we all have something or the other, like something that we just have to figure out. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be something massive. Like
Hmm.
you don't have to be the best academic guy, but maybe there's
Hmm.
something or a very small portion in academics which you are the absolute best at, or not academics like music. You maybe
Hmm.
you just play the sixth string really well. You can be
Hmm.
the absolute best at that. Like
Uh,
there are people who just kill
hmm.
it at one thing and stick to
Hmm.
it and keep
Hmm.
marketing that, and keep being the absolute best.
Wow. So, like, did you take a pen and paper and wrote down, okay, I want to make career as a music. How will I start? Like, what was your thought or what was your brain state in that kind of a thing?
Not really. Well, after doing like 2, 3 jobs, like I already figured out that this is not for me. Like I can't keep this going. Like right out of engineering college, I got into this company in Noida, so I shifted there. And after a while, I was just like, I was sitting in the rooftop and I'm like already done with life. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And I just wanted to get out of the way. So basically, I got that job. I took that job because, like, I wanted to get out of the city. And that was the first time I was getting out of the city, and not for a holiday, for a new life that I'm trying to build. So I wanted to check it out. I checked it out. I didn't like it. I wanted to come back. And, and when I came back, there was nothing going on because hip hop was not a popular thing yet. Nobody knew what rap meant. When I say hip hop, everyone understood dance. That was
Uh,
a popular
uh.
dance form like Bollywood or retro or whatever. So
So, in
hip hop
which
was a
time
dance
you're
form.
talking about this one? Which year is this?
This is what, like, 2014, 15,
Hmm.
back then there was no gully boy, so no
Hmm.
one knew that hip hop could mean rap as well.
Uh,
And I'm not even talking about graffiti or beatbox. No one still knows what that means. I mean, yeah, a lot of people know about rap now. Back then it was just dance, and that too, like, Bollywood certified hip hop dance, if you know what I'm saying. That's Hrithik Roshan,
yeah.
and like Tiger Shroff right there. So that's not. I don't know what that is. Okay, so yeah, coming back to this, so what I was doing is I tried some other things as well. I went to Bombay. Then I also came back to Kolkata. I kept coming back to Kolkata, which was a big thing, big part of my journey as well. Because, like, I just couldn't leave the city for too long. I couldn't leave the language for too long. I couldn't leave my lifestyle for too long. I had to keep coming back to this and keep telling the stories of what I grew up with, basically, like this household or this locality that I keep
Mhm.
seeing in front of me. There's a lot of stories to tell. And I just keep telling those stories, and
Through
I think in
songs.
20, yeah,
Hmm.
just songs, even like sit down just talking to people like
In the
this. I even
midnight.
enjoy that. Yeah, I do that a lot as well. Not always on camera, but yeah,
Mhm.
but basically I really like talking and, just brainstorming everything that I've
Hmm.
seen. And
Hmm.
one of those days, I think I was just in this was my third job, I think third or fourth, not very sure, and that was in Kolkata, Sector 5. So, and I was
The famous
doing a
place.
night shift. Yeah, I was doing a night shift. And basically, for me, night shift meant not falling asleep and keeping my eyes peeled on the computer, not doing much work, to be honest. So, yeah, around that time, I started writing a song. And in 2016, I was performing that song in a local cipher. So, for the
Whoa.
people who don't know what a cipher means, is basically um, it's a kind of a get together for like rappers, dancers, hip hop
Hmm.
artists. We just come
Hmm.
together, we share ideas, we freestyle, we
Hmm.
rap, we jam together basically.
With a speaker as
And
well.
with a speaker, yeah, Bluetooth speaker. And
That's the
like
that's the
dancers can come
main
in.
that's the main setup of the cycle.
Yeah, not always. If there are beatboxers, we turn off the speakers. The
They are
beatboxers
the
can
speaker
beatbox, so we
then.
rap on top of it. Yeah, then they're the speaker. And then, yeah, I mean, in this one of these ciphers, I don't remember. I think it was 2015. I'm probably not saying the date right, but Shafayat from Jalali set was in town, and he came
Jalali
to
said.
one of those ciphers. Yeah, and he was doing a Facebook live, and I did that verse. The song came way before that, actually. 2015, 2016, the song came, and the cipher video got me the first recognition. The Kolkata Rasta
Hmm.
song.
Yep.
The song came out like long ago, but this video that I did on the spot, and it was a random beat playing from YouTube, not even the one that I produced back in the day, but it just got a lot of praise and attention because of this Bangladeshi page that trimmed it out, from that whole live video that Shafa did, and they put it on
Oh.
their channel. It was Planet Hip Hop or something. And I didn't even know about it till people started tagging me on the comments, and that just went
And you were like,
viral.
what the
Like,
hell is happening?
yeah, exactly. First of all, like initially it was all Bangladeshi comments, and I was like, I never had any Bangladeshi fans. What's going on? And then suddenly I see like the West Bengal is catching up as well. Kolkata was the last to get it got to, right. Like it was all the suburbs, all the small cities and suburbs, Mofusol and stuff in Bangladesh and West Bengal, and then Kolkata as well. It just got everywhere. I think that gave me the first boost of confidence. Not just me, actually, but the whole rap scene that we were jamming together and working together. Everyone got a boost of confidence that we all can do this. Then there are people who are ready to listen to this kind of music. Because before
There's
then,
an
no
audience.
one. Yeah, and this was before Gully Boy, right? And so that
Hmm.
is why it was even more strange. And I think it could go in a very different direction if Gully Boy didn't come out right after. It just came out right after, and people just started confusing everything
No.
with that whole Bombay Gully thing. It got too mainstream. It had another. I don't know. It had another potential, I think. But right now we gotta get used to what we have. So yeah, we're just trying to make do with what we have.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
interesting. Fantastic.
yeah.
What was the hip hop and rap scene in Kolkata back in 2014 and 15? Like, what was the size estimated? Like, if you can say that.
Okay. Okay. So before me, there were only a handful of rappers, right? Like, oh, okay. So there were Hard Knock, obviously.
Knock.
One of the Hard Knock was one of the first rappers. I mean, one of the first rappers from Kolkata, and he started rapping when Indian rap was in the text rap battling stage. It was back in
Okay.
Orkut. Orkut
Orkut,
had this
yes.
group called Insignia, and Hard Knock was like a veteran member of that. He did a
Hmm.
lot of battle rap through text. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. That is way too strange for people
Okay,
to
how does that
understand. Like,
work?
how
How
can you
does
do
that?
that?
How, you
Yeah,
shoot text?
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We gotta call Hard Knock in one of these chats someday, man. Like,
Sure. Of
so,
course.
yeah, he can explain that well. And then there was A-List. Obviously, he's one of the pioneers of the whole hip hop rap movement in India. He was actually the first one to drop a rap album from Music World Park Street. That was the first rap
Mm.
album from India. Yeah, and then we had K Crew. There was this twins. They went with like a lot of different kind of hip hop elements. They did a graffiti. They did a lot of graffitis. They kind of had events as well. They were DJs as well. I think they rapped as well. So they did a lot of things. They were in my college, by the way, which was a really cool thing. I mean,
When
we
did you
hung
get
out
to
all the
know
time.
all this that they were in your college?
I just got to know from my seniors. They were in a different department, but the seniors they're like, okay, আমি তো just rap করে এলাম আরো দুজন rap আর কি.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, it was like that.
Cool,
Engineering
huh?
colleges, you know. So yeah, I mean, we met through ragging, which is super weird, but yeah, we did.
We
Yeah,
met
so
through
that's
ragging.
that.
I'll make this the title of the video. We met through ragging. Fits easy.
Okay, so there was K Crew. I think there was two, three more rappers. My first crew was called Agenda Alliance. It had Onupam and Philip, and there were a few more like Sahil and Shobik and all.
Mhm.
But yeah, we had different elements as well, like mostly rap. Yeah, but we made some music. What was I talking about again? I just kept talking. I forgot what I
We were talking about the size of the audience back in the
Oh yeah, size of
2014.
the audience. Okay. Size of the whole community back then was like 10 tops. Okay. And when I say
Okay.
community, I mean hip hop enthusiasts,
Hmm.
including rappers. Oh no, no. I would say rap enthusiasts. There was a lot of dancers back then. When I
Okay.
started, there were a lot of dancers, and most of the dancers used to beatbox as well. And most of them were into, a little bit of um, graffiti as well. But yeah, mostly it was dance and beatbox. Dance was a big thing, and they didn't like rappers much. If I don't know if they like to hear that now, but it was basically all these events. Rappers were always sidelined. Rappers and beatboxers. Like, yeah, you might get a turn. Like when dancers are
Hmm.
just taking breath or something. Like you get a slot, you
Hmm.
do some rap. All right, let's go.
Hmm.
So it was like that. You stand in the corner, you wait your turn. It's mostly dance battles. Yeah, it was fun. But then gradually, like rappers started coming together as well. Like I started this Sunday Cypher thing, and it was mostly calling all the rappers together. Like come together, let's jam. And it was just the
Hmm.
rappers. I was excluding the dancers completely because there was like because with the
Good
dancers
strategy.
we barely got with the dancers we barely got any time to even speak to each other because they were blasting their music out loud and dancing all the time, and we were just
Hmm.
standing in the corner. So I just wanted the rappers to meet and at least chat. So
Hmm.
we started hanging out. It was like I think the first effort that I've done was me and then one other dude. So it was like two guys. So yeah, it gradually
So
got
much
bigger.
crowd, huh?
Yeah, there was two guys. That's it. And then yeah, we did a lot of things. Actually, we got a lot of media attention through this projects we did after that. Like we did me and Joe. We worked for the MTIFF Mother Teresa International Film Festival, and we made the theme song for that. And that got a lot of media attention. Like NDTV covered us, BBC covered us, and after that, Red FM got in touch with us. They want to do a whole campaign, the Ilaka Rap campaign. Me and Joe, we
Wow,
produced that. The whole all four tracks were produced by us. So Praveen was there, Ajay Praveen, and then
Praveen.
Raftar came down. Yeah, so all of that was like promoted in a really cool way. But then that also started a whole wave of Ilaka raps because like Awesome Frankie's song on Raja Bajar Park Circus Ilaka got really viral, right? And then
Mm.
everyone started making songs like that, like Khidirpur songs and like Park Circus songs. Everyone just started calling it their own version of Ilaka raps, and
Uh,
then they started dissing each other, like reply to Khidirpur and Khidirpur saying Park
uh,
Circus whack,
so battles
stuff
are
like
going
that.
on once again.
Yeah, it was like people dissing each other's like rapper dissing rapper. It's like Khidirpur rappers are dissing Park Circus rappers, like Park Circus is whack. वहां पर
Oh.
जगह अच्छा नहीं है or stuff like that.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
uh.
it was weird. It was a
Khidipur is
weird
better than
phase.
Park Circus.
Yeah, it was like that.
Uh.
It was something. It is worth documentation for sure.
Mm. So the community started growing one by one,
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
the
It was like
music
with the
spread to the
media
audience.
attention and everything. Because people didn't know, right? Like mostly people were like when they started finding out about these things, like they used mostly rappers are introverts. Like
Mm.
they don't say shit on people's faces, so they just start writing things down. So they don't go
People
out
like
much.
me.
If that's our jobs, right? But yeah, so these people, when they finally heard about like-minded people coming together, they stepped out of their rooms, and it was crazy. Like we used to do these ciphers mostly in like Dakkhinapon, Nandon, or like Lake Gardens, and people used to come from all over West Bengal. We had people coming from Maslandapur, Bagnan, Chandanagar, Murshidabad, man, like all over. Shiliguri and all, they used to get on a fucking train and come down to the ciphers and go back the next day. They came from
Wow.
Malda and all, which is far. Yeah. So yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people relocated to Kolkata just to attend ciphers every Sunday, and people still
That's
do that.
cool.
It's crazy. Yeah, yeah, that was super cool. So yeah,
So
gradually the numbers started rising.
I got to know the term cipher in 2021. And how I'm telling you. So you guys performed in a festival called Hip Hop December, organized by Independent Artists
Yeah,
Association.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was a part of the organization when it was happening.
Okay.
So I was once told that okay, there's a you have to like coordinate a cipher that's happening. You have to go live from our page. So you have to go to Barakpur. Okay. So
Okay.
there's Shayok Kash and all of those guys came.
Yeah.
They were battling 8 to 10 people,
Yeah.
and I'm the awkward guy. Haven't heard any rap music apart from Eminem holding the speaker and standing like that. I'm like, oh damn it. Obvious of chatting. I'm standing like this. So that's when I got to know Cypher is this kind of a cool thing. And I saw that people around that area is kind of enjoying that, like just outside the station, the
Yeah.
Barakpur station.
Yeah.
People are kind
Yeah.
of enjoying that. They're like coming and like shaking heads and doing this and that. I'm like, cool, man, cool. I'm the only noob over here. Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Um, so when did you get your first professional work in the music industry, and what was your excitement level?
Hmm. Okay, let me think. The first one would be the one that I already talked about, like the MTIFF one,
Hmm.
Mother Teresa International Film Festival, and it came through a guy called Gautam Lewis. He's from United States, and uh, he was actually from India. He was rescued by Mother Teresa herself, and
Oh, wow.
uh, he was like adopted in the US, and he has polio basically. So he's an orphan, and he grew up with polio, but he runs a lot of successful businesses abroad, and so he came back to uh, showcase his movie, which was the lead movie of that festival. And he's a director. He's also a pilot. He does a lot of
Oh,
things. It's
damn.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. He also like managed a lot of really popular bands. which I can't name really. But
Mm-hmm.
he told us. So it was crazy when he got in touch with me. He just listened to a couple of my music online and wanted to use a couple of those songs. So when I was chatting with him, I kind of pitched the idea of making a new song for the film, and he seemed really on board with it. So we made this song, and for that, like he was staying in a hotel, in near Minto Park, and I
Mm.
went to that hotel. He was staying with a white guy, and his name was Phil. Yeah, I mean, it was, and he was like into all sorts of Indian stuff. He really wanted to be Indian for a week or something like that.
Oh.
So like he wanted to have the whole experience. Not Gautam, I'm talking about Phil. And so it was
Mhm.
it was strange. Like,
The white guy.
yeah, the white guy. He wanted to be an Indian. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, it was a really cool thing. I mean, I learned a lot of things from them because they are like really methodical when it comes to getting their work done. And
Mm.
the whole process, I went through the whole process, me and Joe both actually, like that was our first proper work in terms of like, you know I don't know what do I say, like when I'm getting hired to make a song for something
Mm.
not for
Mm.
me. And
Mm.
like, so we did our best. I think we that was the year our Mother Teresa got canonized, and we were performing in front of Mother Teresa's house in Kolkata while she was
Whoa.
being canonized. It was crazy. I mean, media
What was
from
the
all over the
feeling
world
back
was
then? What was
present.
the feeling?
Yeah, it was dope. And like the post office, Indian post office, they released a stamp. We performed there as well. It was different. I mean, I didn't really think that my first ever proper professional work would be so government looking, like official looking. It was so strange. At the same time, it was cool. That's not what you imagine when you think you're gonna have a life full of creative, in a creative field. You imagine you're gonna go and have a funky show or some
Mm,
shit like that.
mm,
You're gonna
mm, mm,
stage dive, but that
mm.
was
And
not
then
my
you see the
first
Indian
professional work.
government.
Yeah, I see the Indian government, the postal, the tax, and all stuff like that. I'm like, cool. I mean, let's roll with it.
Let's rap
At
more.
least the food was good. The
Okay. Hey, come on, man.
food was
Food is
great.
emotion, huh?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Especially in Calcutta. So for sure, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Uh, so now an interesting question for you. What are your thoughts on the Indian music industry? To narrow it down in the hip hop and rap industry or niche.
Okay.
I'm bad at
I
English.
mean, I don't think it's niche right now. Right now, it's very
Mhm.
inclusive. I mean,
Uh,
hip hop and rap. It's one of the most popular things. They made a show
yep.
on that, man. They're writing a
Uh,
whole reality show
and we
on just
have
rap.
rappers, EPR, and all of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, they have a show on just rap, man. That's great. I mean, I don't think rap is niche anymore. What
Mhm.
niche is, Indian music. That is something that's niche right now.
It has become niche. I mean, that's
Yeah,
sad to
yeah.
see.
I don't know. It's just evolution of music, I guess. I mean, it was a
Hmm.
long time coming. I
Hmm.
mean, only if you were a part of something greater, then only you get to go to Doverlin or some shit like that. You
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
only catch Indian classical music in the act if you were part of something bigger than, I don't know
Hmm.
what that is. That's bullshit. So yeah, that is why people have been excluding people for a long time when it comes to music, filtering, and not just music, like creativity. You don't understand modern art. You have to be like, you gotta have a beard or something to understand modern art. So
Ah.
you can't look like me and go into Academy of Fine Arts and be like, I understand what this picture wants to say. You can't be like that. You gotta laugh at it. There's certain standards or some shit, like
Hmm.
filters. And that
Hmm.
is how we were blocking our our whole creative evolution. And what I meant to say is like, there's always gonna be a mainstream flow of things, and where we only go with templates. Like reality shows. It's great because thank God for reality shows. If there weren't reality shows in TV, we wouldn't have anything entertaining. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
count TV series entertaining at all. That's
Hmm.
just something that's, I don't
Hmm.
know what that is. Okay, that's just something. But the only form of entertainment, excluding all the drama, the singing, the dancing, that only happens in the reality show. And it's great, but it is template stuff. I mean, you're not gonna see different shit there. You're not gonna see something that's gonna be like, I didn't expect that. You will expect whatever happened, even if it's like India's Got Talent. You are gonna
Hmm.
expect a cow coming on stage and doing God knows what. You're gonna expect to laugh at a couple of
Shitting around.
rappers. Yeah, you're gonna expect to laugh at a couple of guys. You're gonna expect to see like if it's a singing reality show, there's gonna be one folk guy, like one Baul and one like Hemanto Mukherjee Manade kind
MTV
of guy.
hustle.
Yeah, you're gonna have one rapper like who's gonna speak on love, one rapper who's gonna sing, one rapper who's gonna be like, I'm the most angry guy ever. Like
Hmm.
there's gonna be
And one
templates.
guy is like
And
frustrated as fuck.
yeah, there's always templates to this shit. So
Hmm.
when you step out of the mainstream circle, that is when you see all the gray areas. I mean, you go beyond the black and white. You start seeing things which you may not fully like, but you are intrigued by. Those are the things that we kind of overlook. And our Indian music was all about it, like be it classical music or be it music that was created here, rock music at its prime, like even hip hop music at its prime, and it was being created. Lots of different kinds of sounds, which is authentic, and like stories which
Hmm.
came from the grassroots, and those we just didn't let them get out to the world. We just kind of had to shut them
Preserved
up.
it.
You know, yeah, yeah. We just stopped everything, because the stories can come from everywhere. You don't really expect the cities to tell the full story. If you want to hear the story of a suburb, you gotta let a guy from the suburb talk, and it
Hmm.
won't always be about like Boroloker BT and
Hmm.
his long hair or whatever.
Hmm.
That's not gonna be the story all the time. It's gonna have some gray
A
stories.
different story, a different story.
Exactly. It's gonna be authentic though. And
Hmm.
the sound is gonna be authentic. That is why the sound is not sounding real enough. We don't have an Indian sound yet, which is new. The if we say Indian sound, we are still talking about 90s Bollywood. Why is that? Because we
Hmm.
didn't have a new Indian sound yet.
Hmm.
We have listened to Afro beats. When we listen to it, we know where that beat is from. We have listened to reggae, we know where that sound is from. We know if we hear drill, we know that's from UK. I mean, it's just how sounds are authentic to where they're originating from, and I
Hmm.
think that's what's missing in India right now. And it could have happened if not for the whole media blockage of you know um, underground music. And it's very
Hmm.
important that independent underground music is given that leeway of people just expressing their whole authentic sound, and
Hmm.
that is really needed, I think.
What I also think is there should be a good amount of balance between what we call as underground and over the ground music. So
Yeah,
50%, so everyone listens to both kind of things. That would be a very good balance. And I think
yeah.
that can only happen that, okay, like we have a unfair advantage of the internet today, so we can just
Yeah.
the entire history of
But
humanity,
there
it
is
has never
another side
happened
to the
like.
story, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There is another side to the story. I mean, underground music doesn't always mean unsuccessful music.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Hmm.
underground
There's an
music
audience
is,
for underground music.
yeah, and it doesn't always have to be niche either. It can
Hmm.
be inclusive.
Hmm.
Like why I'm saying it is because, uh, if it's unsuccessful music, people just stop making that kind of music. They go on
Uh-huh.
to make music which
Uh-huh.
will be
Uh-huh.
successful. But if we always show our like point our finger at underground music and be like, this is not mainstream, this will never be mainstream, people will just stop making it. That is the
Hmm.
issue I'm pointing at. Like
Hmm.
there is always space for everything. I mean,
Hmm.
underground music only means that it's a different template, it's a different kind of music, it's between the black and white. It's for a applied to an inclusive audience, which could be niche, which maybe is
So
niche
black
in the
and
terms
white.
black and white, and in the middle, the gray area as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good color coordination.
Yeah, because like often, since underground music is not mainstream music, it it stands out for only one reason, and that's, I think, for me, it's intelligence quotient, and that's gray matter for me. I mean, you gotta have you gotta look beyond the black and white to go get to underground music,
Ah,
and you
ah.
can't think like, just because this doesn't have 236 million plus views on the thumbnails, I'm not
Hmm.
gonna click on the video. Then that way you will never get that. Okay, so I mean, you gotta look beyond them. You gotta search most awkward keywords because these
Hmm.
guys are not gonna be able to do that. These guys don't
Hmm.
have marketing teams thinking
Hmm.
up keywords
No
for
PR,
them.
no coverage,
No search
no
engine
budget to
optimization
run
and stuff like
ads.
that. Exactly, because they're concentrating on making better music. That
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
that makes all the difference. I mean, if you are
Hmm.
spending time into marketing your shit, which we all do. I mean, this is the life. We have to do this because right now musicians make money from a very superficial thing called
Ah.
streaming, which
Hmm.
doesn't mean anything. So I mean, yeah, I people would laugh really, like laugh harder than you when they actually understand how much money and a musician can make from
Hmm.
streaming.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
I know, I
mean,
know.
so so it's crazy. I mean, that is why I mean the when my relative hears that I'm still doing music, they're like, what are you doing? And what else
What the
are you
fuck is
doing?
wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so how do you pay your bills? Oh, you're doing music. Oh, actually, okay. Now I understand that, but काम क्या करते हो? मतलब this is a common
Exactly.
question.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
This
it's
is a
very normal though. I mean, that's what it's always gonna be like, unless we have audience who are looking for music they deserve. I mean, I'm sure they deserve better music than that they're being served right
currently
now.
getting. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you can't be limited to that. What we were saying, like we have internet and we have access to serve our music to literally anyone who wants that music, but the audience also needs to want it and they need to look for it
Hmm.
as well. They need to
Hmm.
search for it. Otherwise, only the people with the bigger spoon will serve you first and you will always
Ah.
eat that same food. I mean, the marketing, if that's the longer spoon, people are going to serve you the same food over and over. You're going to keep eating it, keep eating the same template.
And then
And
complain.
if you want more, yeah, and if you want more, you gotta just stretch for it. You're gonna go beyond it. Just
Hmm.
don't take what the spoon is offering. Look
Hmm.
beyond. It is available. Access is there. You just gotta go out and grab it.
Wow, that's a good
Yeah,
philosophy actually.
yeah. It's
Okay.
all fucked up right now, man. Where I was
Hmm.
like, even with the playlists and everything,
Hmm. Hmm.
they are
Hmm. Hmm.
literally curating what I have to listen. Like, why do I have to listen to what you want to listen to? I'll make my
Hmm.
own playlist.
Hmm.
That is why the whole thing is there. You can make your own playlist.
Diversification.
Yeah,
Hmm. Wow,
yeah.
that's some interesting talk. Now, some interesting, important questions. What do you think is the future of the Indian music industry as a whole? Like, is there a
As a
future,
whole.
first and foremost?
I think there is. I think there is. I'm
Okay.
hopeful
Hmm.
there is. And I would say something which no one is gonna say, but I think Indian music does have a future, and it is not Bollywood. I don't think if people will agree with me or not, but
I agree.
I think regional music is gonna take the win this time. Like people have already been crossing that boundary. They've been crossing the threshold, and they've been reaching the larger audience. People like Arivu from South India. I don't know if you've heard Enjoy Me, and that got like super fucking viral all over the world. He just
And
made a remix
especially
of that.
during the COVID time,
Yeah,
everyone was locked down in their fucking
exactly.
homes. They were creating videos
Yeah,
like take indie song or singer songwriters, Pratik Kuhad and all of those guys, Anup Jain.
yeah,
They're like
yeah,
busted out. So they
for
like
sure.
became close to around famous as Bollywood stars. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the
yeah. And at
democracy
the
we
same
have
time,
through the internet.
I know at the same time, a lot of record labels, like big ones, are coming to
Hmm.
this country right now, and they're investing
Ah.
money. They're investing
Hmm.
proper money in music,
Hmm.
and as soon as they figure out that they'll just have to stop listening to people who don't make them money, they will figure out to trust their instincts and search for the music that they want to put their money on. Because pretty soon they're going to figure out that they have invested money and they didn't get anything in return. So they're going to want that money back. So right now, the next step would be searching for the music that they want to put the money on, and they will do it because they are not the ones to fuck around with their money with. Like they're
Hmm.
not going to just
They
waste their
want an
money. So they're
ROI.
going to they want it back. So they're gonna find the content that's gonna make them that money, and they're gonna put their money behind that. And I think, yeah, that is gonna push the whole regional music scene, and that's gonna create a whole authentic sound that's you hear that anywhere, you're gonna recognize that, okay, this is an Indian song. Like, people are not just gonna be like, okay, they hear Lata Mangeshkar and they'll be like, okay, this is Indian. They're gonna listen to a completely new sound, and they're gonna be like, okay, so this is Indian rap, this is Indian
Ah,
rock, this is Indian, I don't know. They're not gonna call it Bolly rock for sure. I mean, not Bolly rap or gully rap or some shit. They're gonna call it,
uh-huh.
something
So
authentic.
segments there will be. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, genres are always going to be there, but
Hmm.
like, I don't think they're going to cross over much right now, because like, in the coming days, only a certain kind of music applies to a certain kind of audience, because people know their taste now. Some people
Hmm.
prefer listening to music only while they're driving cars, or some people prefer it in their earphones, some people prefer go out on the clubs and
Or some
dance to
people
the
prefer
music.
it when they're dead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, different kinds of music lovers are all over the fucking world, man. So,
Hmm.
but right now they get to enjoy it how they want, thanks
Hmm.
to all these streaming sites like Spotify, Apple Music, and
Hmm.
like everything,
Which
like
pay us
even
zero
going
point
into the
zero 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 one dollars cents for every
yeah,
stream.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, but
So much
like,
money.
even then, people like audience who were listening to music, they have access to literally everything, so they get to choose what they hear. So I think, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of different forms and different classifications into what kind of music people like, but one of them is for sure gonna blow up. One of them. I can't really tell which one though, but well, I don't think it's gonna be Bollywood.
I have conviction. um, what do you think? So you have also worked with singer-songwriters and musicians from Calcutta and the Bollywood industry, if I'm not wrong. You've worked with Anupam
To some extent, yeah.
Roy. Yeah, you've
Mm,
worked with other artists. So
yeah.
what do you think after this much experience? Like, is it good for an independent artist to stay independent or just to go behind a record label or just work with other peers? What do you think is that, like, form a group or
No
stay
one is
independent?
ever independent, man. Like, I don't believe
Exactly.
in the word independent.
Exactly. My thoughts.
Yeah. Independent artists are basically struggling artists who are struggling to make more money. Just calling yourself independent. You're completely dependent on your audience and your, like,
Exactly.
people
On the
to,
platforms.
yeah, I mean, you're completely dependent. And the platforms are controlled by these money makers. If you are not competing with a record label or a media giant, you can't call yourself independent. If I go and compete with Universal right now and call myself like Cizzy as a brand is bigger than Universal Music right now, then I am an independent artist. If
Hmm.
I'm using YouTube and Facebook and Twitter to promote my art, where Universal Music is putting thousands of money to promote just the keyword hip hop, then I'm indirectly dependent on them. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to call myself independent. So yeah, I've
Hmm.
experimented with record labels and also with a lot of collaborations, because I've never done anything exclusively for a single thing or like a brand, because for me it was always about experimenting, as I was saying from the very beginning. I just want to try out different things, and I don't want to make the same song over and over. Like, that's what happens when you commit to something exclusively. You gotta stick to a sound, you gotta stick to a narrative in a storyline, and keep saying the same things in
Hmm.
the same tone over and over. And I don't think I can do it, so that's why
Hmm.
I keep changing the type of music I make, the type of performances I do. Everything, basically. The stories keep changing as well. Like, if I make an album with the stories that I experienced last 2 years, if I make the album and drop it, I gotta move on. I cannot make another album
Hmm.
based on the same stories. I
Hmm.
gotta
New
make new
story.
experiences. Yeah, make new
Go
experiences,
have
meet
a
new people.
breakup, or just drink around
Yeah,
and sleep in
something.
the streets.
Something, like rob a bank or something. I don't know.
We are
Yeah,
providing
basically that's
great
the
knowledge to the audience.
for sure, for sure. You gotta give that, like, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Listening to CC is injurious to health. That's some.
And especially watching my platform is the harshest thing you can do.
Yeah,
uh,
for sure.
Damn.
Yeah, it's almost midnight, man.
God damn it.
Yeah,
And we're planning
yeah,
of robbing a bank. Great, great. We are
yeah,
musicians after
yeah.
all. How do you think musicians can make money, aspiring musicians, in every whatever the field they are? Like they are metal musicians, they are rappers, hip hop
You mean
artists,
except for robbing a
producers.
bank?
Yeah,
Except for robbing
yeah.
a bank. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. I think you can just
So the
so
first
this is
step is rob a
basically
bank.
yeah, I mean, if you can do that, then don't worry about anything else. Yeah. But if you are not too good at that, if you don't have a
Mhm.
mask or something, then yeah, this is something you can do.
Mhm.
Um, you gotta do an analysis of your skills. Like you
Mhm.
gotta figure out what your skills are, and this is something my father taught me.
Wow.
He taught me to do this SWOT analysis when I was a kid. Like
Mhm.
strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat.
Yeah.
I never got it,
And
never
half
never
of
liked it.
the musicians, I don't think so. They know the SWOT analysis or anything of that sort.
Yeah, I think everyone should. Like even if you're not a musician, you kind of need to know exactly where you stand, what your
Hmm.
strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what opportunities can
Opportunities,
come your way,
traits, and
what
everything. Huh?
threats. Yeah, you gotta know this. And if you know your skills, just use them all to make money in every possible way, because music is expensive. And
Hmm.
in order to be a better musician, you gotta invest in equipment. So you gotta invest time and effort and money to be a better musician, which
Hmm.
is a lot more than other fields. So yeah, I think the
Without
best case
expecting
scenario,
too much return from it from the very start.
yeah. So just pay attention to your skills. Like if you can write lyrics. I was a content writer for a long time. I wrote
Oh,
content for a lot of movies. Like I wrote scripts. I wrote like even social media posts for movie stars if Tollywood.
blogs and
I've
all.
done that. Yeah, I mean, I used to manage Facebook and Twitter and Instagram of like superstars of Tollywood. I can't name
Huh.
them, but the
Mhm.
biggest ones. And I've done stuff like that. I've done a lot of content writing. I've done like ghost production for musicians who basically wants to put their money as a put their name as a producer. They're gonna put their money on, and this is gonna say this is produced by me. I'm like, okay, I'll produce it for you. Just give me the money. I don't want my name. There are a lot of people who
Mhm.
are ready to pay money for that kind of shit, and I've
Mhm.
done that. I've done a lot of ghost production for Bombay, Bollywood. I've done a lot of uh, songwriting. I've done content writing. So basically, used all my skills. I have even edited videos. I'm not very good at it. I've edited reels, and I've like done graphics designs and shit. I still keep using all my skills. Even if I have to write an email for someone, I'll do it if they pay me enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I'll do everything.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, if you want to make money, just do whatever you can do. That's all. Unless you can rob a bank. Yeah, that still comes
That's the
first.
that's the end point. कुछ नहीं कर
Yeah,
सकते
yeah.
चलो यार बैंक लूटते हैं.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We'll sit
I
down and
always
plan
wanted
together how
to
to rob a bank.
I always wanted to like start a YouTube channel, and people kept telling me from the very first day. So I never had my own personal YouTube channel. I just started one like recently,
Mhm.
and I always had a community YouTube channel because I was always scared that I will never be able to put up enough content by myself because I get super lazy after a while. So I talked to some guy about opening my own YouTube channel, and the first question he asked me was like, what's a cool thing that you can do? I was like, except for rapping, I don't think I do anything else.
I'm not cool. I'm uncool.
Okay, I take it back. I'm gonna put my sunglasses down. Like,
Okay, bye
don't.
bye.
Yeah, come to think about it, I don't really do anything that's cool enough. I can't even
Uh-huh.
juggle. Yeah.
That's why we are musicians.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we play a couple of instruments, we sing and stuff. I don't know if that's cool.
Yeah, no. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Uh, you're also the co-founder of the Cypher project. So tell us about that. Like, how
Yeah.
did that happen? And what is the Cypher
That's
project for people who are listening for the first time?
so as I was telling, like back in the day when I started bringing rappers together, like just the rappers, and we wanted to have a community to learn from each other, a rappers community. We used to have ciphers every Sunday. We called it the Sunday ciphers,
Hmm.
and that community gradually was called the Cypher Project. Me and a few others, we just named it something because we were making these mixtape, which never came out, by the way. We made a
Oh.
one video though. One video came out. It was called the Kolkata Cypher, and that had a lot of cool rappers in it. You can still find it on the Cypher Project's YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And I think that was the beginning of a movement, like, and everyone basically, when I was starting, I initially wanted everyone to come under one roof and, like, basically share their ideas. And, like, back then I understood that with only a handful of people, we won't be able to survive on our own. So
Mhm.
we kind of had to bring our fan bases together, survive as a community. That was our first goal. And I think that was the goal behind the Cypher project. Right now, though, with the, like, the whole evolution or revolution of rap in this country, I think the community is far more widespread right now, and that is why the Cypher project is not that active anymore. Right now, people are working in their small communities based on their localities and stuff like that, and people are doing their own thing. Like, I'm writing solo for a while as well. I still work with the community, of course, because I'm also planning another year of Hip Hop December. I'm not
Oh.
gonna give that up. I'm planning that. Yeah, we might get that back again because we gotta get these people back. I mean, they're
Hmm.
great artists, great audience. Last time we had insanely great audience. People came from everywhere, like Barashat and Barakpur and all. So yeah, they just came down, which was great because you went to Barakpur to promote
Hmm.
the event, and they
Hmm.
actually came down for the event. It was
Hmm.
it was amazing. I mean, I really wish that will happen again. Let's see. Let's see,
Hmm.
man.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Wow. Probably the last question of the entire podcast.
Yeah.
Then I'll set you free. Otherwise, you'll
Okay.
abuse me. Um, three practical tips for musicians and artists in whatever level they are.
Okay.
Think, think, think,
First would
think,
be
think,
no.
think.
I'll just go off. I'm not gonna think. I'm just gonna go off.
Don't say
Okay.
robber bank.
All right, all right. I already said that, so I'm not gonna say
Okay.
that again. Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
first would be listening. And when I say listening, I mean listening to music, of course, because that
Okay.
goes without saying, and really listening, not just hearing music, but listening, paying attention to,
Hmm.
like, why
Every
this music was made.
nuance.
Yeah, and also like asking yourself, like, why this musician at this certain point in his life wrote this lyrics and sang it in a certain way. Why did he
Hmm.
use this word, and why did he enunciate it in this particular way? These are the questions that you can ask yourself while listening to a song over and over again. And when I say listening, I really meant listening between the lines, and also say listening as in listening to yourself, listening to your heart, because that's one thing. You can choose to not to listen to it. You can choose to listen to other people who will keep telling you that this is not going to work out. Like, just give up. This won't matter. But you got to listen to yourself, man. Like, you will know what's best for you. So yeah, I
Hmm.
think the first tip is listening.
Hmm.
And
Listening to everything.
okay, yeah, but except for people who don't know jack shit, don't listen to
Hmm.
them.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, don't listen to me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't know why would I give two more tips when I already said don't listen to me. But yeah, I gotta give it two more tips. All right. Okay. Second tip would be saying shit and not being afraid to say shit. Because, like, music, often we feel like um, this is what should be said, and this is what people like when they're hearing that this is being said. People like to hear certain stuffs being said this way, but it's not true. It's just people haven't heard this being said in this way yet. So if you do that, you will be the first one to do it. Or if you say it in a different way, you will be a unique motherfucker. Like, I'm not sure if I should be using that word, but yeah. So, but you get it right. If you say it right, you say it, and you gotta say it. If you don't say it, no one ever says it. So
Ah.
just don't be afraid to say it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's two tips. The third one, okay, let me think
Robber
about that
bank.
one. Oh no, I think you already said it like four,
Five
five
million
times.
times. Hmm.
No, you just said it. Like, when you asked me for the tips, you kept
Hmm.
saying think, think,
Hmm.
think. And yeah, the
Ah.
third tip is think. Don't
Oh.
do shit without thinking. All right.
Ah.
Uh,
Do a
and
SWOT
the third thing
analysis.
is, I mean, yeah, you gotta plan your strategies. you can't be like, I'm a creative person, so I don't know my strategies. I'm always thinking about a song lyrics or like a flower or like a bird. No, you
I'm
can't
a
do that.
creative asshole.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, if you're an artist, you are a business. You are the product, you are the business, and
Your
you
music is
are
the
the one
product.
who's running it.
Hmm.
Yeah, you are the product. Like if you're a singer, if you're a songwriter, you are the product, and you are selling yourself. Literally,
Hmm.
it might. I just made it sound like you're a prostitute, but I didn't mean it.
Mhm.
I meant that you were literally the song is not the product. The artist is the product. I mean, it can't be like what I was saying. Like your song can be featured in one Spotify playlist, like top 100, but they're gonna listen to that song. They're gonna love that song. They're gonna not know shit about the artist. They're gonna forget about it.
Hmm.
So you're gonna plan your strategy in a way so that people, when they love the song, they're gonna know about the artist. They're gonna know about all other songs that this artist have done. So yeah, strategy comes with a goal setting, and setting a goal doesn't always mean that I'll be famous. That's just a random goal. That's just a vague goal, and you gotta set exactly where you want to be 2 months from now. You gotta know which marketing team to mail. Every night you gotta know that if this is the event that I'm planning, that these are the sponsors I have to email, this is the PowerPoint presentation that I have to make, and this is the pitch that I have to make. These are all the things that you have to do yourself, because you are the CEO of the product that you were trying to sell, and the product is yourself as well. I mean,
Hmm.
there are no managers. There are
Hmm.
zero managers, and record labels, they just give out money. They don't manage you. So,
Hmm.
I mean, the only thing that you can do is take care of yourself. Like you've seen in the movies that managers take care of artists and shit like that. That's not going to happen till you get to a certain threshold. That is when managers will finally believe that, okay,
Hmm.
this is something that I can invest my
Because
time and
they gotta make
energy
money
on.
as well. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't push yourself enough, why would they come and push you?
Yeah, for sure.
They
Huh.
will, I mean,
Hmm.
if you're not believing in yourself, you know then why would other people believe in yourself? I mean, you gotta
Hmm.
first show that you believe in the product, then you
Hmm.
can hire an employee who's gonna believe in the product just the same. But yeah, I mean, just think, strategize, plan your move, and go for it. And it doesn't always have to be like, I'll make a lot of money, I'll be famous and stuff like that. It can be other goals. It can be like, I'll make a song, it will feature a sound that no one has ever heard before. I'll synthesize a
Hmm.
layer which has never been used in a song before. That can be your goal as well, but you got to put your pen down and strategize it. And even if you're trying to make an album, you got to make deadlines for that, like when you want the song to be ready, when you want the mix master to be done.
Hmm.
Everything needs to be
Hmm.
strategized. So yeah, those three are the tips.
Three practical and golden tips. Also, new music coming from your side?
Yeah, for sure, always, man. Music is always coming from my side, and I'll always keep surprising my audience, because they keep expecting one kind of music from me, and I keep giving them something completely different every time. So yeah, they're always super angry with me, and I'm
Excited.
like, yeah. But let's see. This time they might not be surprised. Let's see.
Okay. We're waiting.
It's always an experiment for me as well. Always a surprise for me how the audience is gonna react.
And when they react, how do you like see it? Wow.
Mostly it's like the last couple of songs, they were like, didn't like it that much, but that song you made like 3 years back, that is the song I like. And then other guy comes up like, okay, that's not the song I like. I like the song you made 4 years back, and stuff like that.
Oh, fuck off.
It's cool though. It's all chill. I mean, there are different
Mhm.
kinds of people with different kind of tastes,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
try to make different kind of music. So it's on me. But yeah, I'll just keep doing what I do. As long as
Chef.
people like it, I'll be there.
Uh-huh. Well, what
Yeah,
a great way to end the entire podcast. Thank
yeah,
you so much once again for
for
taking
sure,
some time out to do this.
for sure, man.
We're
Keep
waiting
doing
for new
this.
music, and for the people who
Yeah.
are watching, Cizzy doesn't need an introduction, but I'll still leave all of the works this man has ever made in the description. Please check them out.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.